Hey, it's me, Matthew Brusso, aka Sushi Boy on Call of Duty, coming at you with another video. In this video, I want to talk about moving cities and starting over. This is something I experienced about 7 years ago when I got up and left and moved cities with not that much money saved. I think I had a total of $1,000 saved. I had 500 for rent, which I found on, I think it was one of these apps, Facebook Marketplace or one of these apps, and I found a room for rent. And I trusted this person, and I e-transferred my rent money, which was a scam. I got there with all my stuff, knocking on the door, and I found out it was a scam. So all I had was $500 left. So I caught myself on a bench, crying my eyes out, thinking, what did I do? But life always has your back. If you have good intentions, life always has your back. So I went to the cop station, and the cop said that, you know what, this happens a lot, and there's nothing that we can really do. So I was like, fuck, man, what do I do? So I met this girl randomly who she was nice enough to get me a Airbnb for 3 nights. So after that, I was going to my barbershop job, which a friend of mine who was working at a barbershop back in Ottawa set me up with. And I got to the place, and I was sleeping at the barbershop for, I think it was about a month. I was sleeping in the basement on a couch. Such a humbling experience. Um, Coming from a very comfortable life, um, back in Ottawa, I was set up. I had a good clientele, but it was just time for a change. That was right after my sister's death, and I just felt like it was the right move. And my ex and I split up, and there was just a lot happening. So I just got up and went. I just went for it. But life always has your back because shortly after that, I met this younger couple who they gave me a place. It was a, it was a room to rent, and I think it was around like $450. But the thing is that there was nothing in the house. There was like no furniture, which was kind of a weird vibe. So in my room, there was literally nothing. So I went in the backyard there, which they had this old foamy mat, and it was all full of shit and piss. No word of a lie. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna use this as my bed. So I took two garbage bags and I put it all around it, and this is what I was sleeping with. And my blanket was my Canada Goose, and I took a shirt and I put more shirts in it for a pillow. So that was my bed, and I had this plastic chair. It was a very humbling experience, and it taught me a lot. And for a while, I had $10 per day to spend on food. $10 a day. So I would go to the dollar store called Dollarama, and I would buy noodles, a can of tuna, and I had a jar of peanut butter. And there was some days where I was so tight for money because the barbershop I was at, I was literally making $200 per week. $200 per week. I went from making 7,000 per month to $200 per week. Talk about fluctuation in 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 the finances. Anyways, I found a tree. It was an apple tree, and there was some days where I would go to it and I would pick up a bunch of apples and I would be on a bench eating them, crying, just grateful that I have this food. And I was really into the gym back then. It was a big part of my life. So I had no money for a gym pass. So what did I do? I went to all the gyms all across Montreal and I asked to try out their gym. So I was bouncing around at all these gyms for a good month or so, actually. So that is just a little bit of my story, but how to do this properly. Journal, pen and paper, set yourself up. I would say if you're moving cities, to be comfortable because you don't know how your new job or if you have a job or how that is going to play out. I would say save up at least 3 to 6 months, even 6 months would be like, okay, you're good of all your bills, rent, food, phone bill, etc. Have that set up. 6 months, you're good. 3 months, okay. I would start with that. I would source out a place. Meet the person face to face, if you can. Or maybe get a referral. Somebody that you trust, because I was so desperate that I e-transferred my rent money and it was a scam. So get it written down. If possible, meet that person face to face. Get a contract going. So you don't end up with all of your shit sitting on a bench crying. Not a fun experience overall. So I would say do that, okay? Set yourself up with a job too, if you can. I would say visit that city first. Stay there for even 1 week. Feel it out. Because I done it last minute. I just got up and went for it. But if you plan it out, you will be at ease. And your experience will be a lot different. You might not, understand what wants versus needs is. Like especially when I just had enough to eat, it was some of the most happiest, blissful feelings I've ever experienced. Which that is very special, but it is very hard to just throw yourself out there and just do it like I done it, because being in the unknown can be scary, but this is where the magic happens, in the unknown. If it's too planned, it is comfortable, and you already know what is going to play out most likely. But if you're in the unknown, surprises all around, which can be fun because you learn so much in a short period of time. So, yep, I hope that you learned something or my story can help you out somehow. Thank you all for listening. Again, thank you very much.